Welcome to the deep dive. We take stacks of fascinating source material and basically pull out the best bits for you.
That's the plan.
So today, we're diving into something really special. It's the Arreqqana spiritual path, a tradition called Nakwari Kialasya.
Which translates beautifully, I think, as the path of sacred flow and voice.
Sacred flow and voice. Yeah, that sounds deep. Our sources for this are excerpts from The Flow of Soul in Sacred Resonance.
That one really lays out the foundations.
Right. And also Tavarine Kavanak, which seems to be their actual sacred scripture.
That's correct. A very rich text.
So our mission, as always, is to give you a kind of shortcut to get the core ideas, the practices, the wisdom of this pretty unique philosophy.
And hopefully spark some connection, maybe offer a new perspective.
Exactly. So where do we start? The foundation.
At the absolute heart of it is this principle, Kilasha.
Right.
And it's more than just, sound or talking. It's about the sacred voice, one that flows with real intention, respect, resonance.
Resonance. I like that. So sound itself is sacred here.
Profoundly. Not just what you say, but the vibration, the how. And they also have these things called sigils.
Sigils, right. I saw that mentioned. What's the deal with those?
They see them as like visual breath made visible, almost like your personal energetic signature captured in a symbol.
Wow. Breath made visible. That's a striking image. And what about identity? The sources mention something about a layered flame.
Yes. Not static, not flat, but like a flame with different layers, different intensities.
Does that mean it's always changing? Or are there core parts? And how do you commit to this kind of evolving self? I saw mention of a sacred oath.
Good question. The layered flame idea, it suggests both. There's a core spark, your essence.
Yeah.
But we're always adding layers, experiences, new fuel, new color to the flame. It's actually quite optimistic, seeing identity as growth.
Okay, growth.
And to anchor yourself in that, to commit, they have the sacred oath of the Arreqqana. It's a really profound personal thing.
What is it?
It's not taksim, lakia, not durek.
Okay. And in English?
That translates to, I do not stray, I speak my flame, I do not betray.
Speak my flame. That connects back to the voice, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's this deep alignment pledge, saying your outer expression, your voice, your actions will stay true to your inner core, your flame, even as it evolves. No betrayal of self.
Okay, so Kialasya is the core idea. The oath is the commitment. How do you actually live this? The source has brought up the 8 petals of the Arreqqana path. It sounds like a roadmap.
It really is. Think of them as facets for cultivating a whole self. And crucially, they're not separate things to tick off a list. They build on each other, guide your development in this really coherent way.
A coherent journey. Okay.
Yeah, if it forms a whole path, we can maybe touch on a few that really stand out.
Let's do it. Start at the beginning. Petal 1 is Tivanara, the breath root. And the phrase is, La Tivanaresha, I root into my breath. Simple, but foundational, clearly. Why so much emphasis on breath beyond just, calming down?
Well, think about it. In all the chaos, the one thing that's always there, always yours, is your breath. It's the ultimate anchor.
Right.
So rooting into it isn't just for calm, it's about finding your fundamental stability, your bedrock. It's like a conscious portal back to your deepest self, always accessible, a grounding tool.
Okay, that makes sense. A stable core. So, from breath, where next? Petal 2. Kamora, the flame of truth. Phrase, like a Bronarisha, I speak in flame truth. Speaking only what has real weight in the heart, in a world full of, let's be honest, noise and performance. What's the power here beyond just not lying?
It's about integrity, like deep integrity of your whole being expressed through your voice. Imagine your words carrying the actual light and warmth of your inner flame.
Okay.
When you speak flame truth, your words have this clarity, this weight. They cut through the chatter. It's not just being truthful, it's embodying truth. And that changes everything, how people hear you, how you connect. It attracts authenticity.
Embodying truth. That's a powerful way to think about talking. Okay, let's jump ahead a bit. Petal 4 catches my eye. Netarana, shadow fire.
Ooh, yeah.
That's a potent one. The phrase is, Lanadarana Resha, I walk with fire veiled in shadow. Fire veiled in shadow. It's evocative. But how do you embrace the unknown, the shadow, without getting lost in fear or like superstition.
That's the key, isn't it? It's not about blind belief. Shadowfire points to that wisdom beyond logic, intuition, gut feelings, the unconscious whispers. The veiling just acknowledges it's not always obvious or easy to explain, but it is real, it's powerful. The practice is about learning to listen to that inner knowing, trusting it even when it goes against the grain. It takes courage. It's deep self-reliance.
Trusting that inner knowing.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the last petal, number 8. Sohalia, song of release. Let Sohalia Resha, I sing and release. Letting go of old selves through sacred sound. How does that actually work? Singing to release.
It's vibrational, think of less passive, letting go, more active or tuning.
Yeah.
You use your own voice, maybe with breath, maybe with a sigil, to literally shake loose old patterns, old identities that don't fit your flame anymore.
Like resonance breaking things apart?
Kind of, yeah. Like using your intentional sound frequency to dislodge stagnant energy or limiting beliefs. It's embodied alchemy, really.
Yeah.
Shedding the old to make space for the new parts of you to come through.
Wow. Okay, so these petals provide this incredible framework. But how does it become, real?
Day to day. The sources mention specific practices.
They did, and this is where it gets very grounded. They weave these big ideas into simple daily rituals.
Yeah.
Like Nakori chanting.
What's that?
It's a morning practice. Using a specific breath tone while focusing on your soul sigil starts the day connected to your core.
Okay. And then there was Quavarella writing.
Yep. Just writing one sacred word each day in their script. A small act, but focuses the mind, sets an intention.
And a light offering at twilight. Lighting a flame, whispering your intention for the night, or releasing the day, a moment of pause and purpose.
And finally, sigil meditation, tracing a sigil while breathing.
Exactly. Rhythmic breathing, focusing on the sigil's energy. These aren't huge time commitments, but they're consistent anchors.
So they really connect the big philosophy to just living.
Precisely. They make the path of sacred flow and voice tangible, part of your present moment every day, reinforces the commitment, guides your way.
Now, beyond the daily stuff, the sources mention sacred scriptures. This feels like where we might find even deeper layers. Tell us about the Tavarine Kavanak.
Yes. This is the wellspring, the Tavarine Kavanak, and it's pronounced roughly Tavarina Kavanak.
Tavarina Kavanak, got it.
It translates to the living thread of flame soul.
Living thread of flame soul. Okay, let's break that down.
Tavarini means something like a flowing, living soul thread. Think continuity, life force. And Kavanak comes from Quava, clarity, and Nak root or source, so the sacred root of clarity and power.
The living thread from the root of clarity.
Yeah. And the text itself, it's described as a codex, a collection of, flame-born wisdom, protection rites, echoes of ancestral voices, principles of balance.
Ancestral voices, too?
And critically, it honors the divine matrilineal soul threads, passed down through the Kiala line. That's the lineage of those whose flame, whose core being, is intrinsically tied to both inner truth and its outer expression. It's not just a book. It's a living wisdom stream.
A living stream passed down.
Yeah.
That's incredible. The sources hinted at sections like Yale verse, Talvanasha, others. Sounds comprehensive.
Very. Each seems to explore a different facet, but one section really stands out for its practical wisdom, the Tavanasha.
All right, the 10 guiding reflections of soul root. Guiding reflections, not rules, but maybe philosophical prompts.
Exactly that. They're invitations to deep introspection, ways to align your life with your deepest soul root. Less prescription, more contemplation.
Let's dive into a couple of these. They seem really potent. Number 1, Nohare Lakima, which means I am of where my soul remembers, not of where my body was placed.
Arreqqana is la noare la kima, wakara le kapare la femana.
That hits differently, doesn't it? And it suggests belonging isn't just about where you were born or live. What's the takeaway there?
It's a huge challenge to how we usually define belonging, right? Tied to place, family, nationality. This is your true home, your grounding, is where your soul feels resonance, a spiritual connection.
Not a physical address.
Exactly. It's liberating. It means you can define your identity based on deep inner truth, not just circumstances. Find your belonging in resonance, not geography. It's about following that internal compass.
An internal compass. Okay, let's jump to number 5, Nomarana Dekar. Love is not attachment, it is expression without demand.
And Arreqqana, Nomarana Dekar, Asir Letikar.
Love is expression without demand. That feels radical almost compared to how love often plays out. What's the impact of seeing it this way?
It's transformative, honestly. It reframes love completely. Away from needing something from the other person, validation, security, whatever, towards just pure giving.
Hmm.
Expressing care freely, allowing the other person their own being.
Without expectation.
Without expectation or demand. Think about how that changes relationships. It moves away from potential burden or control towards expansion and freedom, autonomy within connection. It's powerful stuff.
Yeah, definitely revolutionary. Okay, one more. The last one, number 10. Alatar le nakamina. Every earned light begins from the shadow root.
The phrase is Alatar le nakamina ranedorana de quivari.
Every earned light begins from the shadow root. This links back to that shadow fire idea, maybe.
Right.
It's hopeful, but also asks for courage.
Absolutely. It's saying true wisdom, real growth, genuine light doesn't just pop out of nowhere or only from the good parts. It often emerges from wrestling with the difficult stuff.
The shadows.
Yeah. The unknowns, the challenges, the parts of ourselves we might not like or understand. This reflection encourages us to go there, into the depth, because that's where the raw material for real transformation is found.
So difficulties aren't just obstacles.
They're the soil, the necessary shadow root from which earned wisdom, earned light can actually grow. It's a journey from depth to authentic brightness.
Wow. What a deep and intricate path we've just walked through. The Nakori Kilasha. From Kilasha itself, that sacred voice idea, and the oath.
I speak my flame.
Right? To the 8 petals guiding selfhood, those grounding daily practices, and then diving into the Tavarine Kavanagh, and especially those Tavanashal reflections.
It really does show an incredible depth, doesn't it? And such intentionality. It's a very holistic way of looking at who we are, our truth, how we connect. Profound philosophy, but also somehow very practical.
So, as you listening or reflecting on all this, maybe think about which of those 10 guiding reflections hit home for you. Was it the one about soul memory, defining belonging? Or love as expression without demand?
Or maybe that final one we discussed.
Yeah. How am I embracing that idea that every earned light begins from the shadow root shift things for you? Could looking at your own shadow root, the challenging parts, actually offer a new perspective on your own path forward? Something to think about.